the secret to building wealth that lasts 100 years. Picture this: a grandfather plants a tree, knowing he'll never sit in its shade. But his great-grandchildren will build their dreams beneath its canopy. Here's the hard truth that will shake you to your core. 90% of wealthy families lose their fortune by the third generation. The Vanderbilts built a $200 billion empire in today's money. By 1973, not one of Cornelius Vanderbilt's descendants was among the richest Americans. Most people chase wealth that dies with them. Today, we're revealing the secret to building wealth that outlasts empires. Wealth that grows stronger with each passing decade. This isn't about getting rich quick. This is about creating a legacy that transforms the world 100 years from now. Let's destroy a dangerous myth right now. Most people think making millions is enough to secure their family's future. History shows us otherwise. The Forbes 400 from 1982 tells a brutal story. Only 13% of those families are still on the list today. What happened to the other 87%? They confused getting rich with building lasting wealth. There's a massive difference between the two. Getting rich is about accumulation. Building lasting wealth is about transformation. It's called the 3 generations rule. The first generation builds the wealth, the second generation maintains it, the third generation destroys it. But here's what most people don't understand. This pattern isn't inevitable. It's a choice. The families that break this cycle understand something profound. They don't build wealth for themselves. They build wealth for a mission that transcends their lifetime. Let me introduce you to the 4 pillars that separate temporary fortunes from eternal legacies. Pillar 1. The debt-free foundation. Every empire that lasts begins with one non-negotiable principle. You cannot build generational wealth on borrowed money. Consumer debt is financial cancer. It eats your future to feed your present. The Rothschild family understood this in the 1800s. They built their fortune on capital they owned, not capital they owed. Today, they remain one of the most influential financial dynasties in history. Pillar 2. Assets that defy time. Not all investments are created equal. Some assets crumble with the first economic storm. Others grow stronger through every crisis. Real estate in prime locations. Broad market index funds like the S&P 500. Businesses that solve fundamental human needs. Consider this. If you invested $1,000 in the S&P 500 in 1960, your descendants would own over $300,000 today. The S&P 500 gives you ownership in America's 500 most successful companies without putting all your eggs in one basket. That's the power of owning assets that stand the test of time. Pillar 3. The transfer of values, not just valuables. Here's where most wealthy families fail catastrophically. They transfer money, but not the mindset that created it. They pass down assets, but not the principles that built them. The result? Third-generation heirs who see wealth as an inheritance, not a responsibility. The Rockefeller family broke this pattern. John D. Rockefeller didn't just leave his children money, he left them a philosophy of stewardship. He taught them that wealth was a tool for creating value, not consuming it. 6 generations later, the Rockefeller family still influences global philanthropy and business. Pillar 4. Strategic diversification across economic cycles. The families that survive centuries understand one crucial truth. Economic systems change. Governments rise and fall. Currencies inflate and collapse. But human needs remain constant. They diversify not just across asset classes, but across time itself. Land, businesses, intellectual property, precious metals, each playing a role in different economic seasons. Now let's talk about something most financial advisors will never tell you. Wealth has an energy, and that energy determines whether it multiplies or evaporates. The energy of consumption attracts scarcity. The energy of stewardship attracts abundance. When you approach wealth with the mindset of, how much can I spend? You activate the frequency of depletion. When you approach it with, how can this serve something greater? You activate the frequency of multiplication. Look at the Tata family of India. For over 150 years, they've built businesses with one question. How does this serve our community? Today, they control companies worth over $100 billion. Not because they chased profit, but because they chased purpose. The Japanese have a concept called ikigai, your reason for being. The family businesses in Japan that survive for centuries all share this trait. They serve something bigger than themselves. Their wealth becomes the tool, not the goal. This is the law of attraction, working at the highest level. When your wealth serves a mission, the universe conspires to sustain it. Let's turn insight into action. Here's your 5-step blueprint for building 100-year wealth. Step 1. Build your unshakable core. Before you invest a single dollar, eliminate every form of consumer debt. Create an emergency fund that covers 12 months of expenses. This isn't conservative. This is strategic. You cannot build an empire on quicksand. Step 2. Acquire cash-flowing assets. Focus on investments that pay you to own them. Rental properties in growing markets. S&P 500 index funds that distribute dividends from America's most profitable companies. Businesses that generate profit while you sleep. The S&P 500 isn't just diversification. It's smart diversification. You own a piece of every major sector without the risk of betting on individual companies. The goal isn't appreciation. The goal is cash flow that increases faster than inflation. Step 3. Create your legacy vehicle. This is where most people stop and Luxonians accelerate. Set up a family trust, foundation, or holding company. Structure your wealth so it operates independently of any single person. Make it bigger than you. Step 4. Transfer skills, not just assets. Start teaching your children about money before they turn 10. Show them how wealth is created, not just consumed. Involve them in family investment decisions. Let them see the process, not just the results. Step 5. Connect your wealth to a mission. Ask yourself this question. What problem could my wealth solve long after I'm gone? Education, healthcare, environmental protection. When your wealth serves a purpose beyond profit, it attracts the resources to sustain itself. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine a family gathering 100 years from now. Your great-great-grandchildren are sitting around a table. They're discussing opportunities, not obligations. They're talking about impact, not inheritance. They look at a portrait of you on the wall, not as someone who left them money, but as someone who left them a legacy. The schools they fund, the businesses they've built, the problems they've solved, all trace back to a decision you made today, to build wealth that serves something greater than yourself. This is your moment. Most people build for 5 years. Some build for 50. Luxonians build for centuries. The question isn't whether you can build wealth. The question is whether you'll build wealth that matters. We've just revealed the blueprint that separates temporary fortunes from eternal legacies, the debt-free foundation, the time-tested assets, the mindset of stewardship, the structure that outlasts any individual, the mission that attracts resources. Most people will watch this video and do nothing. They'll go back to building wealth that dies with them. But not you. You're different. You understand that true wealth isn't measured in what you accumulate. It's measured in what you set in motion. If this resonates with you, hit subscribe. Join the movement of people building legacies, not just lifestyles. Comment below with one action you'll take this week to start your 100-year plan. Your descendants are counting on the decision you make right now. Welcome to Luxona, where millionaires are made and legacies are born.